Hey Nadine, you there? I got up this morning expecting you to prepare breakfast. Wasn't it your day off today? Are you already out and about?
Excuse me? I'm out exactly because it's my day off. What are you talking about? With a brother who dropped out of high school, what do you expect, right? Always cooped up at home playing games.
Playing games and dropping out of school have no relevance.
I'm on a date with Mark today. Sorry, but make your own breakfast. Unlike my brother who works in that dirty factory, Mark works for a famous media company and makes the bucks to prove it. Not the pittance you make as a factory worker.
What kind of guy is this Mark? Is he the owner or one of the managers? What's up with the guy? All I heard is that he works at a media company, whatever that is. It seems everything is a media company these days.
His name is Mark Cooper. He's way over your head, Bill. It's no use explaining him to you. You'll just get bored. The only thing you need to know is that he's rich, good-looking, and takes wonderful care of me.
Yeah, well, that's all dandy and all, but just don't become someone that's only interested in money and prestige. You can't buy happiness, as they say. What's important is character and integrity. That's what matters most, not money and status. Just don't forget to look at the human side, both good and bad.
My brother talking about character and integrity? Please, give it a break. Not something I would hear from a high school dropout and factory worker. Talking about factory work, your business is taking a hit now, isn't it? I'm just so embarrassed that my big brother works at a factory. That factory is just a hindrance to society. That's all it is. It serves no purpose. Just get it over with and let it die.
Please don't say that. It makes me sad when you say that, Nadine. Don't forget that if not for that factory, you would not have been able to go to college. Mom and Dad worked their asses off to build and maintain this factory. It hurts me to hear you berating it. It really does. The factory sat right in our property, right outside our back door. It was like our playground back then. Have you forgotten the good times we had exploring every nook and cranny of that old factory? That place is chock full of old memories of our family. And to say you wanted to die just seems so heartless and cold.
Are you serious right now? Yeah, you put me through college, but after we lost Mom and Dad, putting your kid sister through college is what any brother would do. It's got nothing to do with that dirty old factory. It's a brother's obligation to his little sister. That's how I see it. Why should I feel a sense of obligation to you or to that factory? It just seems so outmoded.
Okay, I get it. No use trying to talk to you. I give up.
As long as you get the picture. Hey, Bill, guess what? Mark just proposed to me. The day I was waiting for.
Pardon me? Really? That's great. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, about the factory, could you demolish that piece of dilapidated junk before my wedding?
Say again?
And as for you, as my big brother, I want you to find a proper white-collar job, preferably in the media world. Look what's at stake here. I'm going to be the wife of a media corporation executive, one of the biggest employers around here. I'm going to be the wife of a prestigious guy. I need to keep up appearances, you know. I can't very well say that the old derelict factory is my home. The house is a piece of crap, but it's better than that old dump. Just get it over with and tear down the whole mess. You can use your part of the money to move away and start a new life. Do what you want to do.
You have such a wonderful personality, Nadine. I don't envy your future husband. He's got a handful to look forward to.
What the hell are you talking about? Just raise the place, would you? And good riddance.
You just won't let this go, will you? You really want the place demolished, huh? Okay then.
Okay, so we're done, right? We cut all family ties.
It's more complicated than that.
What do you mean?
You're forgetting one thing. I employ a bunch of staff. I can't just fire them and be done with it. Some have worked there before I was even born. They're more like family. It's not as easy as just pulling the plug.
You're not serious.
Hello, this is Mark Cooper. Thanks for coming to the wedding. I guess that makes you my brother-in-law.
Oh, hey Mark. Thanks for inviting me. It was a wonderful wedding.
I can call you Bill, right?
Of course. You're like 3 months older than me, so you're like a big brother to me. Call me Bill or Billy, whichever you prefer. Or even William, if you want.
I think Bill would be fine. That's what Nadine always calls you. Kinda used to it by now.
Sure. Whatever is easier for you. And what can I do for you today?
Yes, actually it's about business. I wanted to get your advice on a matter that I've been contemplating.
A business matter? Really?
Yes, I was thinking of providing financial support for your factory.
Really? You mean you want to invest in the factory? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I'm going to get right to the point, but the factory is not doing well. Financially, I mean.
Well, it's been doing okay.
I'm really sorry to be so blunt about it all, but it's a small community around here. We're not in the same business, but it's business nevertheless, and I tend to get wind of things. I'm sure you can imagine.
Yes, I suppose.
Is it okay if I ask a little bit about the situation with the factory at the moment?
Sure, this factory was built by my father. My mother helped with the administrative stuff, but my parents passed away in a car accident when I was in high school. My sister Nadine was only a kid then, and we had no other income other than the factory, so we had to make it work. As I was just a kid, we had a relative run of the place until I graduated from high school, but I couldn't very well take over the factory as I had no real experience. So I worked as one of the factory employees, and when I turned 25, I was able to take over as the president. Maybe I just didn't have the organizational skills to make the business work. After my folks died, the business continued on a downward trend. Years later, we were just not able to make things work. And what's more, our top skilled worker will be retiring in a year. He's been with the factory since its conception. So I figured it was about time to pack up.
I see. Thanks for telling me. This is just a suggestion, but this may be the right time. What do you say if we bought your factory? You can continue business as usual, no need to fire anybody. Just think of it as a new business venture. Everyone can continue as before. What do you say? As a business investment, we plan to incorporate new machines and equipment and also expand the overall operation. There may be a possibility of moving it to a more spacious location, just so you know.
That's the best thing I've heard in years. Are you sure about this? Are you just doing this because I'm Nadine's brother? If that's the case, please don't go out of your way. It's not worth it.
I would be lying if I said that wasn't true, but the timing was just right, to be honest. Our corporation was in need of a factory, the kind of products you're working on, but it is personal in a way of paying you back, I suppose.
Pay me back? What do you mean?
To be honest, you may not remember this, but you saved my life once. I'm sure you don't remember. It was 20 years ago. Do you recall rescuing a kid who almost got run over by a car out over by the main highway?
You're kidding me, right? That was you?
That's right. Bet you thought I was a much younger kid. I got that a lot back then.
Yeah, not making fun of you or anything, but yeah, I thought you were younger.
Yeah, I was pretty small for my age. It was only in high school that I shot up in height and filled in. LOL.
I see. I had no idea.
Actually, I didn't know that you were the guy who saved my life. It was only after the wedding that I realized who you were. During the reception, you took off your jacket and rolled up your sleeves. That's when I saw that scar on your arm. I remembered that scar you got from rescuing me. I talked to some people that were there that day and did a little checking up on my own and confirmed that it was really you.
I see. What a coincidence, to say the least.
If you had not rescued me back then, well, I wouldn't be here today. I don't know how to thank you. I owe you my life.
I'm just glad you're okay. It seems you did well.
At the time, in all the panic and all, I wasn't able to get your name. I was hoping I would run into you one of these days. Who would have thought you, the guy who saved my life, would be Nadine's brother? What a twist of fate.
Yeah, I'm still in a daze. How could this be?
So, back to what we were talking about, this investment. The timing was just right. I would appreciate it if you'd accept my proposal, as a business investment and as a way for me to show my appreciation for saving my life.
Mark, I really don't know what to say, but thank you so much.
Hey, Mark, pick up. What's this all about? Why'd you go out of your way to help that old beat-up factory? You didn't have to do that.
What do you mean, beat up factory? It's owned by your family, for God's sake. A little too disrespectful, don't you think? Anyways, this is a sound business investment, nothing more.
A sound investment? Are you kidding me? You're throwing your money away. Why invest in that broken-down factory? It'll just drain you of funds. It's our money. Please, don't throw it away. You still have time to pull out. Use those funds for me. Take me on a trip to Paris instead.
Nadine, am I hearing you right? Your brother put his blood and tears into that factory. I hate to hear you belittle the place. You're well aware of how much your brother put into the place all these years. Your folks and your brother worked hard at that very factory to put you through college. Have you forgotten that? And what's more, your brother Bill saved my life a long time ago. I owe him.
That has nothing to do with me. Nothing's changed. It makes no difference.
Makes no difference? Seriously?
All I care about is that we got married, and I just want to be happy. That's all. I don't need all the rest of that crap. Now that you're married to me, you should focus your attention toward me and nobody else. Forget that dirty old factory. To be honest, I feel totally embarrassed by the fact that this dilapidated old factory is part of my family. I want nothing to do with it. Now that you've invested in it, maybe it would be a good opportunity to just demolish it for good. And what's more, unlike you and me, who graduated from college, my brother is a high school dropout. I think we should just cut all ties with him and his factory and go on with our lives. All that place does is invite bad luck.
I see. You know what, Nadine? I was always a little uneasy about some of the remarks you've made and your occasional attitude towards others. I can take what you just said as how you truly feel. Is that it?
I'm so happy that you see it my way. I knew you'd come around.
That only means one thing. I think we should get divorced.
Wait, what? What did you just say?
I said I decided to divorce you. You should be ashamed of yourself for having such animosity towards your brother in that factory. I'll repeat this one more time. Bill saved my life. I would not be here talking to you if it wasn't for him. If you can't understand that, well, I can't live with someone like that. I'm sorry.
Mark, are you being serious right now? This is just one big joke, right? Are you ranking me or something? Who's behind this? My brother, I bet. I mean, we love each other. We just got married. How could we get divorced so soon? Nobody gets divorced about something so trivial.
It's not trivial, and no, I'm not joking. I did think I loved you once, but it was all just an illusion. After what you said, I came to my senses. You don't love me for who I am. You only wanted me because of my money and status. I realize that now.
That's not true. I love you. I really do. Please believe me.
You really expect me to believe you after all that? Goodbye, Nadine. It was nice knowing you.
Bill, are you there? I just talked to Mark. He said he wants to divorce me. What did you say to him? Please help me out here, would you? He told me you saved his life long time ago. He owes you. That means if you ask him to do something, he has to comply, right? Could you please contact him and tell him? No, demand that he not make your sister cry and not go through with the divorce. You have to do that for me, Bill. Bill, are you there? Say something, would you?
Nadine, I thought you contacted me about... Sorry, but I have no intention of helping you out.
Excuse me, why not?
You said some terrible stuff about me and about Mark. You wanted to cut all family ties with me. Just disappear somewhere is what you said. You do remember that, right? That means I'm not your brother any longer. At least that's how I took it. Am I wrong, Nadine?
Bill, what are you saying? Are you going to abandon your only sister? Why do you dislike me so much?
It's not that I dislike you, Nadine. The fact is, I'm no longer your brother. That's what you said. So you're no longer my little sister.
How can you say that, Bill?
Just think back on what you said. The answer's right there.
I'm the victim here. I did nothing wrong. All I wanted was to be happy.
If you think that's the way to become happy, I'm afraid you'll never find happiness, Nadine. You can be sure of that.
How could you say that?
You have this uncanny ability to disregard other people's feelings and desires, but have a sharp focus on your own happiness and well-being. You don't have what it takes to really love someone or to be loved by someone. It's all just superficial to you. You have no idea what it takes to love or be loved. You don't even try.
How can you say that? Mark loves me. That's proof in itself.
Oh yeah? Then why does he want a divorce?
It's just a friendly husband and wife spat.
No, it was because you said some callous and insensitive things to him, that's why. It's because you only took from him, never gave. There was no love there. All you wanted was money and prestige. You weren't able to provide him with what's really important.
But how could you? I was only trying to...
That's it in a nutshell. You weren't able to give or receive love, that's all. That's why he wants the divorce. He felt no affection from you.
But, Bill, you have to.
I'm done here. There's nothing for me to say.
Please, don't end it here. Please, Bill, forgive me. Give me another chance.
Sorry, but I'm going to activate the block function. Goodbye, Nadine.
Bill, please.
After that long conversation, she came to the house dragging a shitload of luggage. She stood outside our home for like 15 minutes, constantly ringing the doorbell. My neighbor came out to check on her because of all the ruckus she was making. He told her I had moved away due to the relocation of the new factory. I only moved about 15 minutes away to a temporary apartment, but I guess Nadine thought I had moved far away and simply gave up. After the divorce went through, she went about trying to find another rich guy to marry and eventually found a guy, but he turned out to be married. But knowing Nadine, that didn't stop her, which as you can imagine did not end well. The wife apparently sued for damages, leaving her with considerable debt. But she couldn't change her spendthrift ways and ended up with more financial obligations. Last I heard, she was working as a hostess at a downtown club to make ends meet. Not the life she had dreamed of, quite the opposite.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Sarah's mom! Hey! Is now a good time?
Hey, Leo's mom. I'm on my lunch break right now, so it's fine.
Huh? Your lunch break? Does that mean you have a job?
That's right. I'm on my break at the minute.
Oh dear. I did have my suspicions, but it looks like I was right.
You were right? About what?
Your household is poor, right?
What? Why?
I mean, I get the impression your husband doesn't make much money.
Based on what?
He always goes to work in those worn-out clothes. And isn't a single room a bit of a cramped place to live for a family of 3? What's more, if your husband's on such a low salary that you have to work too, he must be a real good-for-nothing, no? How tragic!
No, we're not struggling to get by as much as you seem to think. I've been working at this company since before we got married.
Oh dear, I see. So even if you wanted to quit, you wouldn't be able to because of your scruffy good-for-nothing husband.
No, those clothes are a hobby of his.
Wearing worn-out clothes is a hobby?
He likes clothes with a damaged look.
That's actually a pretty good excuse. Lol. Oh well. I suppose that's what you get for choosing him in the first place.
Like I said, we're not struggling to get by as much as you seem to think.
But you can't make ends meet without the both of you working?
Both me and my husband are in positions of responsibility at our respective workplaces.
Maybe so, but a position of responsibility could mean all sorts of things. For example, being a factory manager at the biggest company in the region, like my husband. Oh, by the way, did you know he got promoted just as we moved here? It's hard to be a stay-at-home housewife in this day of age if your husband doesn't have a job like that, huh?
So was there a reason you contacted me?
Oopsie, forgive me. So you know how we only moved here a month ago? We were thinking of buying an extra cabinet and some shelves for the house. But we don't know where to get them. But of course, we can't go buy anything cheap.
In that case, how about checking out the furniture shop on the bypass? Naturally, they have domestically made stuff, but they also have trendy foreign furniture too. I recommend it.
Oh, really?
You should be able to get there on one stop from the bus station near your house.
You know a lot for someone so poor. Thanks.
Uh,
I didn't think it'd be nice if we went together, but that's probably no can do if you're at work.
Sorry, it's rush hour for us now. I can't clock off early without a good reason.
I see. Oh well, it can't be helped. I'm sure you could take every last hour you can get to scrape by whatever money you can.
I'm gonna head back to work now, so was that all?
Yeah, sorry I kept you for so long.
Bye. Leo's mom, do you have a minute?
I do. What is it?
Sarah wouldn't stop crying when I went to pick her up after kindergarten today.
Oh?
When the teacher asked her why, apparently she told him Leo said,
You'll catch poor pox if you play with poor people.
What have you been telling him?
Oh, come on. Don't get so upset. I'm just teaching my son the rules of the world.
Rules?
Actually, it might be hard to understand for a low-income family.
Excuse me?
After all, I heard you hardly ever show up to our mother's meetings, where we all go out for lunch or tea.
Well, I'm working, so I can't do weekdays.
Which means, unlike me and the other wealthy moms who can afford to be stay-at-home housewives, you can't make ends meet unless both of you and your husband are out working.
I do my best to tag along when they invite me on my days off.
But it's true that your attendance rate is low. Basically, you use your job as a pretext not to go so you can keep the expenses down. You know, it's difficult for us to get along with people with such drastically lower standards of living because we have to be careful not to upset you. That's why I'm sorry, but please join a group of low-class moms instead.
Low-class moms? I mean, I don't really care. But I don't think you should be indoctrinating your children with your own prejudices.
Good grief. You just don't get it, do you? Associating with poor children is bad for my son's intellectual and cultural development. It's a parent's duty to keep a watchful eye and choose good friends for their child.
Oh, by the way, I heard you said the same things to Aya's mom because she's a single mother. You should stop teaching your children to discriminate against people because of perceived notions of superiority and inferiority based on how much money they make.
Yeah. If you're going to make comments like that, at the very least, wait until you've improved your standard of living to the point that your husband doesn't have to wear worn-out clothes. Sarah's mom! I see your husband's going to work in worn-out clothes as usual. Poor people are so tragic.
Good evening. Whether you insult me out of the blue is your business, but at least say hello first.
I have an example to share with you of what it's like to be a real celebrity. So I very kindly decided to message you.
Please, go ahead. Now that you mention it, you haven't messaged me in over a month. And you ignored me when I went to pick up my daughter from the kindergarten. Apparently, you were also whispering something about worn-out clothes when my husband went to pick her up after work.
Good grief, stop sulking. You should feel honored that a celebrity like me is even talking to you.
So, what do you want? I'll be getting ready for bed soon.
Oh, do forgive me. It just so happened that the CEO of the company my husband works for invited the two of us to go to his house on Sunday.
Okay, so what?
Apparently, it's a housewarming party to celebrate the completion of the new two-family house for him to live in with his daughter and her husband. All of the company's top executives are invited. My husband's a factory manager, so of course he'll be going. And guess what? I heard his daughter and future successor, the managing director, is the same age as me. I can't see any harm in us getting along.
I see. Well, I hope it ends up being that easy for you.
Good grief, you're not jealous, are you? I suppose being from a family so poor the breadwinner has to wear clothes full of holes. You wouldn't possibly be able to appreciate the inner workings of the celebrity world. Lol. Looks like the gap in status between us got even bigger. I do hope you can forgive me. Oh, I just can't wait for Sunday. Sarah's mom? What are you doing in a place like this?
Oh, Leo's mom, hey.
Not hey! How on earth did you sneak in here? You can't do that! A daft groveler like you shouldn't be mingling with us in here. On top of that, I just saw you being all pally with the CEO, the owner of this house. What the hell are you scheming?
Scheming.
Oh no, you didn't! Are you having an affair? Aiming to marry into money, are we?
Oh, come on. There's no way I'd do that. Your thinking's gone way off the deep end.
Whatever. I don't give a damn about that reason. Hurry up and get out. It's embarrassing for me as a mother of the same kindergarten as you.
Even if you tell me to go.
Come on, make it snappy.
Why do I have to get out of my own house?
What? Don't talk such nonsense. This house belongs to the CEO of the company my husband works at as a factory manager. I know you're probably tired from living in a life of poverty, but I think your delusions have gotten out of control.
I'm not delusional at all. This is my house.
Didn't I just tell you?
This is the two-family house me and my husband had built, so we could live with my dad.
What?
If you don't believe me, why don't you ask your husband, the factory manager? They see each other all the time at work, both being executives and all, so he'll tell you straight away.
Executives? Huh? Wait a second. What you're saying makes no sense. What about the one-room apartment you're living in?
The floor plan does include a one-room studio, but there's also a 5-room apartment attached. Me and my family are living in the 5-room apartment. It was only ever a place for us to stay temporarily while this place was being built, so we moved out last week.
Huh? What? But I never heard anything about that.
Yeah, because I never told you.
Why didn't you say something earlier? How awful of you to keep quiet this whole time.
You mean like, hey, my dad's the CEO. Guess what? My husband's the managing director. we're hardly familiar enough for me to tell you every detail of my private life.
What?
Besides, would you even have believed me if I told you? Wouldn't you just call me delusional without listening to a word I said no matter what I told you?
No, that was...
So, not correcting you was intentional. It's enough for me that my other mom friends, who I get along with, understand.
Huh? No way! That can't be! You can say what you like, but I know you've already been excluded from the other mom groups.
Even since the beginning, me and those moms you got along with so well since Leo's first day at kindergarten were never friends at all.
Huh? But aren't the celebrity moms the boss mom group at kindergarten? How can there be moms you can get along with when you're ostracized from the boss mom group? Isn't that a little odd? Explain yourself!
You do know that boss mom is just a name they gave themselves, right?
What? It is?
Sure. They can come from rich households. But you could say they're a little bit quirky. You'll probably understand better if you just think of them as the group who doesn't fit in with the other moms.
You're kidding! That's how the group formed? But what about your husband? What about those worn-out clothes? Surely he had no need to dress like that if his wife was really as important as you claimed you are.
Like I said, they're made to look damaged. It's fashion. He wears them because he likes them.
What? Fashion?
My husband also works for a company as their fashion designer. They have a free dress code, so he's free to coordinate his outfits in line with his taste as much as he likes.
I don't understand.
By the way, the guy in the tailored jacket's speaking to my dad, the CEO right now.
Oh, that handsome devil?
That's my husband.
No, that can't be. He's the man who wears the ripped clothes?
I told you, they're made to look that way. He is capable of discerning the time and place to wear certain things, so relax.
But...
Excuse me. My dad's asking me to give an address to the group. I have to go now. Bye. My dad called me over as I was messaging on my phone in the corner. As I gave my speech with mic in hand, I caught sight of Leo's mom quietly sneaking out. I did wonder if she'd give up, but at the beginning of next week, she did a spectacular about-face and was suddenly trying to make everyone think we were best friends. However, word of her attitude had already spread by then, so all the other moms had had enough of her. She even got kicked out of the self-proclaimed boss mom group, and now she's completely alone. On the other hand, our kids are getting along just fine now. I'm so relieved about that. A few days later, her husband, the factory manager, apologized to me profusely. After seeing his wife's line chat history and wanting to keep a closer eye on her around Leo, he decided they all move in with his parents. I am fairly certain it's not a two-family house, though. Good luck, Leo's mom.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.